What if the United States tried to claim land that already belongs to a NATO ally? That's not a movie plot. That's real life. Donald Trump has once again set his sights on Greenland, and this time, Congress, Denmark, and NATO are pushing back hard. Here's what's really going on, and why it matters far beyond the Arctic. At an international summit, President Trump revived one of his most controversial ideas: bringing Greenland under U.S. control. But instead of applause, the proposal triggered alarm, not just overseas, but inside Congress itself. So why Greenland? And why now? Greenland isn't just ice and snow. It sits in a strategic Arctic corridor between North America, Europe, and Russia. The U.S. already operates a major military base there, critical for missile defense and early warning systems. Trump argues that controlling Greenland is essential to counter Russian and Chinese influence, strengthen U.S. and NATO security, protect America's northern defenses. But there's a problem. Greenland is not for sale. Greenland is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, a longtime U.S. ally and NATO member. Danish officials were blunt. Greenland's sovereignty is not negotiable. Greenland's own leaders echoed the message, saying their future can only be decided by the people who live there. Then came something even more unusual. Members of the U.S. Congress, from both parties, spoke out against Trump. Lawmakers warned that pressuring or threatening an ally could damage NATO unity, undermine international law, and weaken America's credibility on the world stage. Some even traveled to Denmark to reassure leaders that Congress does not support seizing Greenland. Trump claimed he discussed a framework for Greenland with NATO leadership. NATO quickly pushed back. Officials made it clear: NATO does not decide territorial ownership. Greenland's political status was not on the table. In other words, security cooperation is one thing. Ownership is another. And allies weren't comfortable with how close those lines were getting. At one point, Trump even floated tariffs on European allies, tying economic pressure to Greenland negotiations. Those tariff threats were later pulled back. But the damage was already done. The message was clear. This wasn't just a conversation, it was leverage. This story isn't just about Greenland. It's about how the U.S. treats its allies, how far presidential power can go, and whether strategic interests justify diplomatic pressure. Congress is now signaling a red line. No military action. No forced takeover. No breaking trust with allies. So the question now is simple, but serious. Can the U.S. pursue Arctic security without crossing into coercion? And will this Greenland push strengthen America's position, or isolate it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and follow for more stories where politics, power, and global consequences collide.